የመስቀሉን ፍቅር ሲገባን የመስቀሉን ፍቅር ሲገባን
Dear Orthodox Christians, welcome to the first episode of the Great Lent series. I'm your host, Beatty, and I'm joined here today by a great friend, Miki.
Hey, Beatty.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Alrighty, so we actually had a couple struggles before filming today.
Absolutely.
Do you want to let them know what's been going on?
Oh, yes. Let's see. We started off, as we were getting ready, the lights that overheated.
We put it in the fridge.
Yes, and then our camera. We couldn't really get it to stand, so we got to make a quick run to Target, get a tripod.
Yep.
So just like little things that, I don't know, I didn't expect to run into.
We were definitely discouraged for a minute. We were just like, is this not meant to be? And, I was just like, let's just say a quick salam alaikum.
Yes.
Not joking, maybe like 15, 20 minutes later, everything started working again. And what was my reaction? We caught it on camera.
Yeah, he said something, I know.
Yeah.
And we were just like, you know what? It's happening. Let's get it started.
Literally turned on the lights, camera, action, did the whole 9. And we are now here today.
Yes, let's do it.
All right, so this is our very first episode of our podcast. I'm so happy that you got to join us. How are you feeling being the first guest?
It's exciting, I heard about this, like you introduced me to this about 2 weeks ago and stuff like that, and I was excited. But I wanted to ask, what motivates you to start the podcast?
I don't know. It was maybe I was at work, possibly. I was just thinking, and I remember listening to the book release that Gorgoros put out, his new book, Creation, and he was saying that we don't have enough resources within the EOTC that are English translated.
Yes.
And I was thinking about it, and I was like, a lot of the Coptic Orthodox churches, they have so many resources for their kids. And I'm like, we need to be able to do that. We need to be able to do that for our generation, the older generation, the one that's, right underneath us that's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And I was saying that I think that a podcast would be, it's needed. We need it in the space. And when I heard George talking about we need to be an addition to the EOTC, I was like, let's just do this. I know it's very ambitious, but...
No, I really like that, because I know, personally, my brothers would want to get into it, but even when we go to church, I remember they don't understand Amariña, so it's not it wasn't really pulling them in. But if it's something like this, there's so many podcasts out there, but to have one within the church, I feel like that's it's something exciting. They can relate to it because also it's in English, but they get to learn about their religion.
Absolutely. And you know what? I love listening to podcasts. And I saw that we don't have any within the EOTC. I saw OTYD started one, Spot started one, and they were going so well. I was so interested. But I was like, sometimes it's good to change it up. We need as many resources as possible. We can't always rely on, just one or two organizations. The Coptics, they don't have that problem. They have a ton of people with a ton of resources, a ton of authors, etc. And so we have to get up, build the strength, and start being ambitious, if that makes sense, and building new skills. So that's why I'm so excited to be here. We have a great team,
yes.
A great first guest.
Thank you.
So I hope you'll be excited.
Oh, very excited.
So today, this week's theme is Qeddist, and so we wanted to discuss how we can implement Qeddist holiness into our day-to-day life. And my first question for you is attending church enough to be deemed as holy?
I'm going to say no, unfortunately.
Okay.
Or fortunately,
Yeah.
Because, doing something, at least here in America, we only go to church on Sundays. So to do something once a week, that's not enough. We need to do this every day, like we were talking about. This needs to be our identity. It needs to be something we do every day from morning to night, So just, going to church once a week, I don't know. What do you think?
I think it doesn't feel right. My favorite day out of the week is Sunday, and a lot of people are gonna be like, oh my god, she's so cliche, but it's literally my favorite day. And sometimes I go peak morning, and you just see, I I'm like, is this what heaven is supposed to feel like? Is this what it's supposed to sound like?
Wow.
And I wish I could feel that every day, but I don't think that going to church is enough. I believe that we have to seek Christ in order to be not necessarily deemed as holy, but to be deemed as reflecting holiness.
Yes.
And so how can we seek holiness? How can we seek Christ?
So I mean, we seek, like I said, we need to seek Christ every day. So it can be with prayer or going to church, like I said, reading our Bible. You know, there's so many different ways. But I also think like we only say like, you know, if I go to church, I'm good enough, you know. But that's not it. Like I said, it needs to be a day-to-day kind of thing. It needs to be your personality. It needs to be a routine that you keep. Waking up, you pray, you read your Bible, you know, even before a meal, a quick masjid, you know what I'm saying? Like, it needs to be our identity. Like I said, I believe in that big time.
I do as well. I believe that we need to humble ourselves, not only in front of God, but I believe we have to humble ourselves in front of everyone that we come across, even in front of ourselves. I believe that ego is such a big thing that brings us down. And so I believe when we seek Christ, something that I remember as a young teen, I'd tell someone like my situation, let's say, someone that was older, and they would just be like, prayer. That's your solution. And I'd be like, well, no, I need a real life solution, you know? And then they'd be like, that is the real life solution. And they'd be like, I would tell them, like, this is so cliche. Like, of course you would say prayer.
Yeah.
But when I think about it now, as I'm older, I'm thinking prayer really is truly the only way to succeed in this life, to reflect holiness. That's the only way. I can't see any other way. Obviously, there are more ways to pray. It is not only, you know, obviously like picking up a book and, you know, but even as you said, like one, single cross takes us a lot.
Absolutely.
And I was actually thinking about this. I believe we were talking about it yesterday. The saying, I was trying to figure it out for a few days. I thought it was like Saturday you're Pilate and Sunday you act like Peter, but apparently it's not. It's ጠዋት ጴጥሮስ ማታ ጲላጦስ. And I feel as if we tend to act like Pilate on Saturday and Peter on Sundays. And I was saying that we're double-minded when it comes to who we want to be, right? Similar to being a lukewarm Christian. And I actually heard about being a lukewarm Christian by our brothers Gorgoros and Nahum on their podcast at Tawado Today. And I was like, we shouldn't have a Sunday character. We should, or a Sunday character and a weekday character.
Yeah.
Instead, we should be who we are on Sundays, every day.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and sometimes you don't even realize it, like, until Sunday comes, like, oh, tomorrow's church, and like, let me get my stuff ready, my mindset. But I mean, how many people do we know, you know, they're like out doing their own thing on a Saturday night, and it's like, oh wait, I gotta go home, tomorrow I gotta go to church.
Literally.
But like you said, like, it should be an everyday kind of, there should never be a time or moment where like, oh wait, church, oh wait, pray, you know. It should just be a second nature to us.
I like that. How can we make that a second nature?
So first of all, attending church, you know, I think that's the first step for everybody, because when you go to church, you're surrounded in Christ's children, family, you know, and you get to be part of that. And then when you talk to people, they tell you their like routine of prayer or what they do to get close to Christ. And with that, you get to build your own routine of what you want to do, you know. Like, you're gonna, first thing when we wake up, you know, like most of us were like, what, hit snooze, or you wake up and you go do something. But that first moment, either you wake up with an alarm or not, it should be like, oh, thank you, I just made it today, you know. We don't think like that, and because of that, we get lost in our day. Like, when you wake up and if you don't do a prayer, if you don't pick up your Bible and you just go like straight to brushing your teeth, 99% of us, we're just gonna go, okay, I brush my teeth, I change my clothes, eat breakfast, and just like, you're off with the day. But when you start the day with Christ, it's just a big blessing.
That is indeed true. Something I caught on from what you just said is something that I was just thinking about the past couple of days is I believe it's 1 Peter, don't quote me, but it says, you shall be holy for I am holy. And I was thinking, how can we even reflect that? Because I feel as if we're not even worthy to even be considered as holy. I can try to reflect it, but I can't be it, I don't think. And I was talking to a spiritual father yesterday. He was like, we always think that we can't reach that level of holiness. We're unworthy at the end of the day. But he's like, if we just looked at Christ, he fasted 40 days. He was tempted 3 times. And what did he do every time? He looked to God. And I was just thinking, I was like, what does that mean for us? What can we do? How can I let go and let God? Yeah. Like, I hear people talking about it, like, just let go and let God. I'm like, but are we actually letting go and letting God?
Yeah, but like a quick conversation, you know, like whenever, like you said, when God was being tested, he would pray. And we do it too, you know. I feel like most of us don't realize it, but we always do it. Like when something happens, we're like, oh, please God, help me with this. You know, that's a form of letting go and letting God in. Like you're having a quick conversation. If you're not, just because you're not sitting down reading or like having a deep prayer, that doesn't mean you're not letting God in. But like we were saying, like a quick prayer before a meal. And how many times do we eat? 3 times, you know? Yeah. So like that can be it. Like, thank you, God, for this meal or something. Like you going out and coming back in. Thank God I made it back home. So like a little conversation, a little prayer, you know, like on our day-to-day, like a little reminder. Set your phone screen as a Bible verse or the cross or something to let us remind every day that, you know, God is there with you.
I really like that. That's actually something that I've been trying to work on, especially this year, is making sure that I'm relinquishing my, you know, control and just letting God do him. Literally, like, I mean, obviously we have to meet him halfway so that he can do the rest. But, you know, some solutions that I've been working on myself are praying my daily prayers. A lot of us tend to stop when, you know, we were like, we read our Udasimaram this morning, we're good to go. But we have to do more than that, you know? I believe that we should be reading at least 1 psalm a day before our head even hits the pillow. 1. And I know some of them tend to be like 5 minutes long when you're reading it, just that one chapter. But again, 1, and then communing with our Lord, right? Partaking in the 7 sacraments. And lastly, truly repenting. I'm still learning, you know, the repenting part. Okay. And what, you know, my spiritual father was telling me, he's like, as long as you are truly, truly repenting and all is well, at the end of the day, God forgives, he is merciful. And actually something that I've been introducing into my, you know, daily prayer life now is making sure I'm prostrating, you know, those 41 times. Lord, have mercy on me, a sinner. And I believe that the biggest thing out of everything is making sure that you're being kind to everyone that you come across. Yeah,
and sorry to interrupt, but like I want to remind our viewers, like this is not everybody's at this level, you know? Like some of us maybe some of us are like, you know, saying Abata Chunoi or Our Father which are in heaven when you wake up. Like that might be you. That might be it for you, because everybody has their own path, their own, you know, like way of getting to Jesus Christ. That like we're not saying you got to do all this stuff.
Exactly.
Like everybody's at a different stage in their life. So like having communication with people, I'm like, hey, how did you start off? You know, and then saying, okay, like let me add this. Just wanted to say that.
Absolutely. Something that I believe in fully is do not rush. Do not immediately get up and be like, this is what I have to do. This is what I heard people are doing, and now I have to be that. I don't believe in that. I don't think it's right even to try to do that. I believe that, again, everybody does have their own spiritual lives, spiritual journeys, and even those that, you know, I get inspired by a lot of people, and I'll be like, wow, like I really want to be like that person. And I look at myself and I'm like, I'm weak, and I'm like, I need to go do a prayer. I get distracted with something else. Like, it's just human nature. But I was thinking these are just only a few ways that we can do to seek Christ better. And this is not to say that I am anywhere near any of these, but this is just something that I myself am trying to do better at. And you know, whether you're at the very beginning praying, you know, Abuna Zava Samayat, or you are at, you know, reading Mazmur Dawit 53 a day.
Yeah.
I don't believe that God looks down on one or the other because you're doing more.
Yeah.
But something my mom would say that really caught on to me is she'd be like, always say salam alaikum. And I'm like, oh my God, like, you're being so dramatic. Like, even till now, like, sometimes I'll be like, Mom, like, be for real.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, like, you need to make sure that you're saying one salam alaikum a day. And I'm like, for what? She's like, when you enter someone's home, when you're entering church, whatever the case is, she's like, you just never know. And so I took that, and with my best friend, I'd be like, one salam alaikum a day keeps the devil away.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
I think I'm a rhymer. But I do want to talk about inspirations. Do you have any inspirations that make you want to keep going?
Yes. I'm gonna have to say my church friends, like you and the other people that I go to church with. As you know, like, I'm just starting on this path of going to church, seeking God. So, like, seeing you guys, like, it's so amazing because everybody's at a different age, and I'm just like, wow. But then there's also sometimes where I'm like, man, I wish I was him. I wish I did this at this age. But I'm just like, you know what? Everybody has their own timing. So, I mean, the kids inspire me a lot, because to see them at this age and the environment we're in this world, you know, and to be strong in their faith, I think that's beautiful. I think that's beautiful.
100%. I'm actually obsessed with the kids as well. It's a huge group of us. We are a variety of ages. I think who's even the youngest? Maybe like 13, maybe?
I believe so.
Yeah. A lot. I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, like, they're hanging out with 13-year-olds at their grown age. But I'm like, that's what I love at the end of the day. When we're together, I don't see the age difference at all.
Yeah. No, you don't notice it. Everybody's... Nothing. Because it's not so much that we're comparing age. We're there for one reason, and this is to get closer to God. And at this point, we're all on the same level. 100%. You know, in our spiritual life, we're all on the same level. We're all trying to get to one big goal, and that's all that matters.
I like that. Yeah, we're all trying to get to the kingdom of heaven. I was actually talking to one of the kids a couple of days ago. I was asking her, I was like, do you have a goal set for the fast? And I was telling her, you don't have to share that with me, but just make sure that you have at least one goal. And she was telling me that one of them is she has an accountable partner, and she was like, I want to pray 7 times a day that are set already in the scriptures. And I was like, I started literally to look around, and I was like, I should take some notes.
We're supposed to pray 7 times.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. The more you know. I was literally reading up on it right before the fast started. I don't remember what it was on, but I was like, I don't know if I have the strength for this. And I was like, this is where I'm weak, and this is where I need to start getting strong in. And it was so funny because it was a full circle moment, because when she said that, I was like, oh my God. I was like, this is God.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, talking to people, like, everybody's at different stage. No matter they're old, they're young. Like, some people, because, like, they're younger, but they're way far ahead in their spiritual life than I am. Me being old doesn't do anything, you know?
Exactly.
So, like, to kind of have a conversation and then learn from one another. Because, like, they might be young and they're farther in their spiritual life, but the tests are just about to start for them, you know?
100%.
So it's good. It's good to have these conversations.
100%. I actually get a lot of inspiration from the mothers and the fathers at church, especially our church. Though, I mean, when you go to church on Sundays and you see them at peak time, I'm talking like Sunday morning at like 5 a.m. I'm like, wow, like, I see the mom over there in the corner. She's like, maybe on the floor, and she's praying. I turn to my left and I see a father, and he's like in the back praying his Mazmur Dawit. And I'm just like, An hour later, I'm turned again, and she's still down there, but she started a whole new book.
Wow. And
I'm like, what are you praying? Sometimes I literally just want to go up and be like, what book are you praying? Can you put me on? And I'm like, obviously, like, that's odd, but but I admire them a lot. And something that I also admire are church fathers. I admire them because they're the ones who are praying for us on our behalf. And I'm like, huh.
Yeah.
And I'm like, these people are literally so amazing, and I want to be you.
Yes.
Or a percentage of you, I guess.
Yeah.
But those are some people that remind me of Christianity, I guess, if you'll say. But all of this was just reminded me of something that I was reading. I think maybe I like saw it on Instagram or something, and I was reading it to everybody that we must fast in secret. And not make it a show, I believe.
Yeah.
Maybe like Matthew 6, possibly. Yeah. Don't quote me again. But I was wondering, I was like, how can we fast in secret without perceiving ourselves as better than someone else?
That's tough. I think it's a human nature to kind of have that thought, you know. But so how I intake that is, you know, like I'm up and I'm going to work and I'm not looking beat up. I'm not looking. I don't want to look like I'm suffering. You know, I want to get up, whatever, do my hair, get my clothes on. You know, like I want to present myself like I do every other day. Like this fast shouldn't be any different. The only difference is what I do in the morning, my prayer, my reading of the Bible. But other than that, like I should be. You should not look at me and be like, "Are you okay? Like, what's going on with you?" You know? Yeah. What do you think?
I 100% agree. I believe that I don't want to lower myself in a sense, but I want to do it spiritually and like mentally. I don't want people outwardly to be like, "Oh, yep, here she goes. She's in her like monk era." I heard one of the kids saying that like a week ago. But I don't want to be perceived as that. So I'm like, I need to learn to fast righteously. And I was thinking, I was like, in what way can I do that? In what ways can I change? I realized that I can carve time out and I'll just go sit in a corner maybe. And it could be 5 minutes, but just of alone time. Sometimes I'll carve out maybe an hour at night or 30 minutes in the morning, just depending on my day-to-day life. But I want that to show in my kindness to everyone, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I guess not outwardly being like, yep, I'm fasting, guys, that's me in my monk era, but more so where I can show that I'm being kind, I'm being compassionate, I'm giving, and just being righteous, which we are unworthy again, but trying to be at least. So may God help us fast righteously.
Amen.
But it has now been a week of fasting.
Yes.
Has it been officially a week? Something like that. 6
What
days.
is that? 6 days?
I think. I don't know. Yeah. It's been a week of fasting, and I've realized some of the things that I've really been struggling with. For one, food seems to be a universal thing.
Everybody's on that boat.
Everyone. So I'm like, should I come out with a cookbook? Comment down below if we should. But I was thinking, I was like, I've taken it upon myself to not eat plant-based foods.
Oh, yes.
Something that I like is our whole friend group is taking that on together. We're like each other's accountability partners, which I really appreciate. And we tend to like gravitate towards plant-based chicken or the saga, whatever it is, because it's convenient.
Yes.
But we found other things. So can you share your 2 favorite meals or snacks that you've liked since the fast has started?
Yeah. I think everyone can relate to this, and that's gonna be Chipotle. It's gotta be my number 1. I'm sorry. It's convenient. It's right around the corner, you know.
That's true.
Gotta watch out on the budget, but you know. And the other very simple thing is French bread and avocado.
Yeah.
I think that seems to be our go-to in our friend group.
Yeah.
So those 2 are gonna be mine. How about you?
My biggest thing right now is, I know you're not the biggest fan, but cucumber with tahini and veggie fried rice.
Okay.
I know, yeah. One of my favorite things, especially, I forgot, fruit.
What is with the tahini and like the
Okay.
flavor's not there?
No, it's there.
I'm not hating. I'm just trying to understand.
Okay, we didn't make it right this week, guys, so you just slice up some cucumbers, you put some lemon or lime. I like the yellow one. I always get confused if that's lemon or lime. I don't know what it's called. But the yellow one. And then you put some tahini on top.
Okay.
And then Himalayan sea salt is my favorite. So it's like sour, salty, savory, sweet. It's really good at the end of the day. And then I eat 1 kiwi a day, or at least I have been. I don't know. I think kiwis are in season right now. I'm not sure. But, a lot of different alternatives. I say maybe we should all challenge ourselves to get out of our comfort zone. Don't be, getting the plant-based chicken because it's convenient. Instead, go and buy yourself a French bread and buy yourself an avocado. Make some veggie fried rice with that leftover white rice you got. Something that is the most important to me, I know all of us are aware by now, is that I hate wasting food. Yes. Because there are so many hungry people in the world. Yeah. And so
it helps too. Like if you, I don't know, getting off of work or school at 3, you have another 3 hours if you're fasting until 6. Yeah. So it's like it fills your time up. You get to create this new hobby so that like you're not just sitting down waiting and then being distracted on your phone and other stuff. Like it gives you time to kind of just be distracted and let the time pass.
I like that. Creating new habits.
Yes.
I think that is a new habit that I've been trying to create. Not necessarily cooking, but figuring out my diet. Because, we're losing a lot of, like, vitamins. We're not getting as many things as we should be. Yeah. So just trying to balance out the food. I know we're not particularly supposed to be, focusing or hyper-focusing on foods. But I feel like you still need to take care of yourself. Make sure your health is still being maintained. And so making sure that you are implementing as many fruits and veggies is so important. Yeah. So that's just, we're not encouraging you to starve yourselves again.
Yes. No, definitely have some food because you lose energy and
absolutely.
can fall asleep.
Yeah, so we've been having those issues. But we're going to go through some problems and solutions that we've been having this past week. One of them being if you have a problem with not getting up and praying. Yeah. It's, we've been getting told that we should be getting up, we should be thanking our Lord, we should be for waking us up in the morning. So what is a solution that you would give for those people that are like, I'm really struggling with getting up and praying?
I think before I go right away into the solution, like find the problem. Are you not going to bed early? If you're not, go to bed early. Because that would help you. Like if you wake up early, you'll have time to do other stuff, so like identifying the problem is going to be the key point. And then the prayer part, like why are you not praying? Do you not know how to pray, or what's going on? Once you figure those two things out, so like wake up early or like go to bed early, and then wake up early. And then if you don't know what to pray, like I said, talk to your friend group, talk to your church members, be like, hey, I want to do this fast, right? I want to pray, but I'm not sure what to do. Like anybody's willing to help. All you got to do is ask. Yeah.
I love that. Being vulnerable.
Yes.
That's a big thing that we all have trouble with.
Big time.
I think it's just in our blood as Abishas. We just tend to have an issue being vulnerable with one another. So that's very important to do, especially during the fast. I would also agree with everything that you said. A solution maybe that I can give is to wake up a little bit earlier than you normally would, and to just get up and pray. You just have to force yourself. I'm not sure. There's a saint that said that. I'm not going to quote him because I have no idea. It could be completely incorrect. But he was saying to just get up and pray. Force yourself. And that doesn't make you any less than the next person, which always makes me get up and literally pray in the morning. And just thanking him for giving us yet another day to breathe, another day to wake up, another day to see our loved ones. But something that I was seeing that this week, so we fasted every day till 6 p.m.
Yes.
Glory be to him. I realized that I myself have been so exhausted. So exhausted. And I've literally been falling asleep everywhere.
Including work.
Yep. My boss
victim number one.
Yeah. Our entire friend group, we kind of like have a surge right after we eat.
Yeah.
And then that's when we started to work. We start to work after 6 p.m. And then we leave at like, what, 11?
Yeah.
It's such a problem.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and then what? You're trying to wake up early and you're like, I need more sleep. And on top of that, you don't have like the nutrition and stuff like that. So maybe like some of us might not be getting a good night rest. So, yeah.
I believe that we should be weakening our flesh during this time. If you do struggle with fasting until 12, or struggle with fasting till 6, which was this week, I believe that you should fast till 12. Don't force yourself to reach an unattainable goal. Just something that worked for me personally was I got an accountability partner, and then making sure that you're keeping yourself busy with things that will feed your soul at the end of the day. That's the biggest thing that I've been trying to reflect on every day.
No, that's good. I mean, right now, thank God it's still like school season, because I've heard, and this is me talking to friends, like in their past fast time, what they'll do is they'll sleep in. So they'll sleep in until like 11:30, wake up, and they'll be like, oh, it's almost noon. I feel like that's a little cheat,
It is.
So you should be waking up at like your normal time, and then like you said, distract yourself or look for new hobbies. Like if you're not in this path, search about it. Talk to people. Like time goes by fast actually when you're distracted. So then like instead of just sitting or laying down on your bed and kind of waiting for the time, like pick up a phone, call someone, watch a YouTube on what the fast is about, learn a little bit more, and then that way you're also feeding your soul.
I like that. Productive distraction.
Productive distraction, yes.
I think that's gonna be my this week's reflection. Productive distraction. Something that a lot of the kids have been talking about over at our church is music. A lot of them struggle with, how am I supposed to transition from listening to music every day to taking a step back and listening to, mezmur. And we were talking about we should be listening to tzom mezmurs. That's something that we were, trying to figure out with them and telling them that it's not about forcing yourself. It's about willing to step away and willing to be like, all right, this is not something that I should be doing at this moment, and being like, this is what I have to focus on. And some resources is Ahadu Studios. They have great English translated mezmurs. Again, we are listening to mezmurs with no kabaro, so OTYD, Living Tawahado, Ma'avera Kaddusan, listening to Sa'atat, Wuddasi Maram Zema, listening to us. Yes. There's a ton of things that we could be doing. I know we were talking about how can we stop watching shows. Is there something that you can tell us to, or you can recommend us? This is something I did for this week, is cancel my Netflix subscription, because it's bound to happen. I would maybe come after work, do my workout, I want to sit down, turn on the TV, and when I get that reminder like, hey, how about you you need to start up your subscription, I'm like, oh wait, I did this because of the fast, because you can get distracted throughout the day, throughout the week. So definitely like canceling or putting a pause on some of your subscriptions, right? Anything that would distract you, just take the moment right now, or like as soon as you can, kind of like put a pause on it, so that when you forget and go back to it, that would be your reminder, like the pop-up of like open up your account or whatever it is, like that would be your reminder of like, oh wait, I'm not doing this anymore. That would be one thing. A lot of the thing is hanging out with friends. We hang out with our friends, and that has been helping us, because we're all like talking about what happened at work or at school, and we're just like together, just like sharing our day-to-day kind of experience that like we forget about it, and that's why we're like, oh wait, it's 11 p.m. we gotta go home, So if you're not alone, I think you have a better chance of not being distracted and like
getting onto the social media and stuff like that. And I know you can also put like set timers on how much you're on your phone and stuff like that. Like, and then, which is, I think the most beautiful thing is that if you're like, oh, I don't want to do this, or this is too much and stuff like that, like just take a minute to realize you're
addicted.
Yeah, you need to time out. You need to time out, so that just there are signs. It's like a wake-up call, I think you should take and play. So
I like that. I like everything that you just said. I actually think that this entire fasting season is a wake-up call for us all, period.
Absolutely.
I like that you paused your subscription on Netflix. I have a subscription on every platform. You name it, I got it.
Wow.
And so I literally had to start deleting all of the stuff off of my iPad, my phone, because it was literally becoming addiction. I also I have little siblings and they're always on Disney Plus, etc. Had to cancel it.
Ooh.
Yep, immediately. But
so sorry to interrupt, but what do you do? Like, you cancel that subscription, and that was like what, their day-to-day kind of thing. How do you fill that gap for them?
So they actually sleep at night. So they love like sleeping with the TV on, which is such a bad habit, but they actually sleep with Wudas Yamaram Zema or Sa'atat now. That's how they fall asleep. And so I have been doing the same.
Okay.
I love Sa'atat, and I wish that we would do it here. This is to my fellow priests here in Chicago. If we can start Sa'atat, that would be great. But Bagana audio, actually, one of my friends put me on. If you just search up on YouTube, like, I believe it's like free audio Bagana.
Okay.
It has like 3 hours worth of it.
Oh, wow.
Which is really nice. Yeah, it's sermons. You just have to have, again, productive distractions. But something that I have been realizing is that we have so much at our disposal, right? So many things. We're choosing to be lazy.
Yes.
And it's a universal struggle at the end of the day. It's all of us together. But I believe that instead of putting each other down, we should be picking each other up. We should let's encourage each other to be better. Let us also take the good habits that we inherit from this fast, and let's implement it into our day-to-day after this fast.
Yes.
Which is something that a lot of us, we all struggle with. I myself tend to struggle with as well, but I'm hoping and praying that I would be able to take that and implementing all of that into my day-to-day life from here on out.
I like that. And then like you just mentioned it briefly, like also after the fast, because I feel like once the fast is over, now subscriptions are up and going, and you're eating all this kind of food, and then you kind of like lose all your focus. So then I would say like like you can go back to your old lifestyle, but minimize it at least. You don't want to overwhelm yourself. You don't want to do too much like right off the bat.
That's true.
So I think that would be a good thing to keep in mind, like not just for this fast, but like even when the fast ends, I want to keep something behind.
I like that. Yeah, that's a big thing to think about and to decide. Something that I've been reflecting on is Christ was crucified on the cross for us. He was crucified for my sin. He loved us so much that he died for us. And so I was reflecting. I was like, look at how much he has done for us. What can I do to give it back? I can never repay him, that is for sure. But I believe that the way that he loves us, we should be loving one another.
Yes.
Which is something it's difficult for us all to understand. And I believe that everybody learns that with time. But, we must learn to love one another. And that's also something huge that I've been trying to reflect on as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it just makes us better as a human being, and I feel like it can make, on a big scale, the world a better place to live in. Like, I don't know. It's sad to see, obviously, all the distractions we have, all the hate, the war that's going on. But if you think about it, like, if everybody can come together or like be on this path all at once, what a beautiful life it could be.
With all the evil in the world, maybe we can put a little goodness into it.
Yes.
I like that. Well, glory be to God for giving us this time. Thank you for joining us, Miki.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you guys. Join us for next week's episode.
Yes, please like, subscribe, and share. And if there's anything you guys would like us to talk about on our upcoming episodes, please comment and we'll address that.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure to follow us on YouTube, Instagram, all of our platforms at Fikra Haymanot so that we can continue to produce many more things like this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
የመስቀሉን ፍቅር ሲገባን የመስቀሉን ፍቅር